These are the biggest engines that make the most power with no help from any forced induction, all under $15,000 for you guys to stay on a budget. Welcome back to Boost.
I feel for a category like this, America is usually going to be a slam dunk answer. However, I did not go American. I went German. Guys, the car that I chose is an Audi S8, specifically the 2008 Audi S8. It took me a long time to find anything naturally aspirated that made decent power, period, under 15 grand. Guys, the Audi S8 comes with a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10, making 450 wheel horsepower out of the Quattro all-wheel drive system.
Wheel
Horsepower.
Not crank, wheel.
Wheel horsepower. The car weighs in at about 4,300 pounds, roughly, and the 0 to 60 was done in about 4.9 seconds.
What?
With a quarter mile time of 13 and a half seconds. You wouldn't think this is a 4,300 pound luxury sedan, would you? The top speed is electronically limited at 155 miles an hour. We will come back to that in a minute. So immediately right off the bat, you're like, there's no way there's a V10 available for under $15,000. There's a little bit of a catch. You know, obviously it's a German car, so they're somewhat harder to work on. So yeah, these things are about 13 to 15, a little more, just a touch more, but you can get them a little under 15. Around 100,000 to 130,000, you can find these things under 15 all day for some reason. I'm not sure why. When I think about German cars, I immediately jump to reliability and maintenance. Germans are notorious for being extremely expensive to maintain and own on the daily basis. So I went online and I did a little bit of research on the reliability aspects of this 5.2 liter V10. Mm-hmm. And what I did find actually shocked me. So some of the main problems immediately jumped out to me was the excessive carbon buildup on the intake valves.
That makes sense. My guess is a dual overhead cam 10-cylinder.
Yeah. For whatever reason, the trans output shaft seal tends to leak oil. The CV boots and joints tend to go bad faster than other vehicles, especially from Audi. It can have a torque converter problem. And for whatever reason, they have really bad control arm bushings. This is known as being one of the most reliable Audi platforms that they've ever made. It's a D3, which stands for Drive 3 platform. You can go into a mode with the transmission and it will lock you only in first, second, and third gear. And they do this for extra power output when you're merging on the highway or you're going up a steep hill, because fourth gear is their overdrive, and that's for max fuel efficiency. So right now it sounds all good to be true, right? There is extremely limited aftermarket support for this motor. These things are expectedly rare, very hard to find, but if you can find one, no one ever that you're ever going to meet is going to have another one of these. Maybe I've seen it and looked past it.
You probably have. You see Audi from 08 and you're like,
it's an Audi from 08. Yeah. It's, you know, it's okay. But little do you know that that is an S8 with a V10 inside that makes 450 wheel horsepower. So total ultimate sleeper. Could you imagine beating like a cocky V6 Camaro owner that thinks he's going to kill you, and then
not even V6 Camaro owner, yeah. Oh wait, that's beating the 8-cylinder.
That's true.
Yeah. And 08, that thing is beating actually probably everything.
Stock for stock, that's probably one of the highest horsepower. Yeah, you're right.
It's not even horsepower. You said it's running the quarter mile in what, 3.5?
13.5. And like I mentioned earlier, they are hard to work on because it's you know, if you've seen the picture of German timing chains, you know.
You don't even have to go into all these pros. It's very simple. It's a 10-cylinder car you can buy. That's 15 grand.
Yes.
That's it. That's like all the pros you need.
Enough said. This is where it gets kind of interesting. This is the same 5.2 liter V10 that's in the Lamborghini Gallardo.
That's actually really cool, though.
I didn't know that. I found that fascinating. It all makes sense. They're owned by the same parent company. They take this motor from Lamborghini and they tune it to be smoother and have more of a luxury feel for Audi and their brand. And it redlines at 7,000 RPM. This has adaptive air suspension. Yeah, people tune these. So they take, obviously, remember how I mentioned earlier that Audi takes it and kind of detunes it for a luxury and smoothness. Well, people out there take these motors and tune them. You know, they remap the ECU and they can get this thing. Some have reported over 200 mile an hour top speeds. Yeah, the range was kind of like 186 miles an hour to around a little over 200.
It's going to suck when your air suspension gives out at 200 miles an hour. Well, you know.
I think the only major problem is it weighs 4,300 pounds, right? You're going to want to save weight, right? Mm-hmm. And people do strip out the interior, and I'm talking just basic, like taking seats out. People are able to save around $220 20-ish pounds just by taking the seats and stuff out. Dream build for this would literally just be, the tune and exhaust, maybe wheels and tires.
You don't need to do much. It's a 13-second car already.
If you are into cars and you don't want to do too much, and you are bold enough to go for a German car, and you want to beat absolutely all of your 17-year-old friends in a race, I don't see a reason not to get one of these. So that was the Audi S8.
And that brings me to another sedan.
Ooh, okay.
This is probably the most hated four-door outside of something Infiniti makes.
That brings me to the Dodge Charger. Yes, I'm being 100% serious too.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is, bro.
All right, I'm talking about specifically the 2012 to 2014. They only made it for 3 years. Dodge Charger SRT8. Why that car? Why not the newer Scat Pack? Newer Scat Pack's a little bit more money. Yes, it is the same motor, 6.4 liter, but it's not the same motor entirely. From the 2012 to 2014 model year, it's a 392 cubic inch, 6.4 liter, 16 valve V8, but these 3 years, the motor was cast iron, not aluminum. The block was cast iron. Means people boost it. These cars are boostable.
Yes.
This car makes respectable 470 horsepower and exactly 470 pound-feet of torque.
Wow.
You can find these on Marketplace all day under 15. Really, they're like good condition between 8 and 14. And then once in a while, I'll see like a guy who thinks it's a Corvette and has like 8 miles on it. And if this thing has never seen sun, he's asking 30 for it. These came in only a 5-speed auto. The SRT8 and the Super B. What do you know about the Super B?
Anything.
I didn't know anything either until this video. So the normal SRT8 weighs, the Super B weighs 3,691 pounds.
Are you kidding?
You might be asking, what is a Super B? How did Dodge save around 600 pounds? The Super B has nothing. SRT8, fully loaded, you got your leather seats, you got your heated and cooled cup holder, you got your heated and cooled seats, you got your heated and cooled balls massager. And the Super B was actually cheaper than the SRT8 because it saved weight and less amenities.
Oh, I love that so much.
So the Super B gets cloth seats, only cloth seats, non-ventilated, has a smaller touchscreen, no navigation, no heated stuff. Not only does it not have the special Harman Kardon speakers, it has less speakers, like half. It saves money on simple things like it doesn't have LED reading lights. There is no rear view camera. It doesn't have the heavy 3-mode dampening suspension. It's all sport or nothing. And it saved money, doesn't have launch control. 2012 SRT8 has launch control. A lot of cars today don't have launch control. This car is 2012 and it has it. Dodge rated 0 to 60 at 4.8 seconds. Once again, Dodge lies. People are getting 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds in these things.
That's unbelievable.
The catch it, the Super B, the lighter one, has a 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. The quarter mile is the same thing. They run it around 12.5 seconds at 112 miles an hour. Why are the statistics so similar? It's simple. To save money, the Super B didn't have lightweight forged rims. They're both aluminum, but they weren't forged aluminum rims, and they came with shittier tires to save money again. You pair that without having launch control, the Super B lacks your 0 to 100 miles an hour compared to where the SRT8 shines. Also, the SRT8 has launch control. It's heavier. It can get more grip in the rear. It has better weight transfer. The top speed on these things are 175 miles an hour. And these things go
limited at 175?
Yes, these are limited at 175 miles an hour.
That's ridiculous.
Now, the cool part is modification to these things. It's a Charger. This car has been in production. This is the 7th generation since 2011, all the way up to 2023. When Dodge came out with this car, they knew in a couple of years the Hellcat was coming out. This car was purposely detuned for that Hellcat. Fun fact about this motor, I don't know the exact compression ratios and all these special facts about the engine. When Dodge patented this engine, people thought they were returning to NASCAR. The specs of this engine, if you know your engines, it looks like a racing engine. The ratios that this engine puts out, the numbers that this engine produces for 2012, that is a racing engine. Let me talk about the 0 to 60 quarter mile times. You might be thinking, what is this times in 2012? The fastest Mustang was the GT500. The fastest Camaro was the ZL1. They were both supercharged options. This was a naturally aspirated engine. It doesn't compete with those cars. It competes with the SS and the Boss 302. It blew both of them out of the waters. This car was actually on par with the M3 at the time. This car competed with top-of-the-line German sedans at the time. Now, back to modifications. People did with these cars were detuned because they had to be slower than the Hellcats, which were eventually coming out. People did a full exhaust, exhaust manifold exhaust, cold air intake, a little bit better cooling, like an intercooler or something, and a tune. And they were getting 550 horsepower to the wheels. Then people built this motor naturally aspirated, and they were getting 650 horsepower to the wheel naturally aspirated out these 6.4 liters.
Oh my gosh.
People literally will sell you, screw all that stuff, a $10,000 supercharger kit for this car, the Super B or the normal one, which brings it to around 695 wheel horsepower. So you spend 15 grand on the car, 10 grand for a supercharging kit. This is a $25,000 car that is beating 99% of everything on the road today. Hellcats make 707 at the crank. This is making 695 at the wheel.
That's unbelievable.
Now, there is a very, very big negative about this car. It's a Mopar. I'm not making a joke. That is the negative. You get a Mopar, people will clown you. Trust me, I know. You get a Mopar, people will tell you you don't know anything about cars and your car is a boat. And guess what? It sucks. I don't want to hurt myself sometimes. Oh my God. People think that you don't have the title.
Do you have the title?
I'm serious. The biggest issue with these cars is the community. The Mopar community is so bad. You need to spend hours digging in the forums to find anything helpful of what you are doing. That's the worst part about it. It's a 5-speed automatic. The 5-speed is apparently really good at, apparently. It's made by Mercedes, just like everything else nowadays.
For under 15 all day, I'm not sure there's a better pick. That's really good.
Under 15 all day. This car is one of the best options you can have.
That is a really good choice, especially for someone that would want to build a motor.
So, sedan.
I didn't pick a sedan at all.
God damn it.
So, these guys know a lot more about this car than I do. I picked a 2010 Camaro SS, preferably the manual, because with that manual transmission, it comes with the LS3. I know the automatic 6-speed doesn't come with the LS3. This car weighs 3,849 pounds. 0-60 in 4.8 seconds, quarter mile time, 13 flat. I picked this car because there's a lot of LS3s out there. From what I saw online, it is easy to work on, very beginner friendly. You can get a decent one. I was looking for 13 to 15. 15's pushing. I mean, like, I know our budget's 15.
I love the way this car looks. The taillights look awesome.
Everything looks awesome.
Except, the blind spots.
Well, if you just not look at them, just turn.
That's actually exactly the problem. So then it sucks because then you'll be racing like a Audi S8, and then his fucking air suspension goes at 180 miles an hour and fucking hits you, and you didn't even see him coming.
You can't avoid it.
Blind spots are there.
You can't avoid it at all.
Meanwhile, the SRT8 couldn't get off the line because it was in the middle of being stolen.
Thank you for watching, Boost.
If there was a car on this list that did not deserve to be on this list, let us know. If there was a car that should have been on this list that was not on this list, let us know. Be sure to share with your friends. Like, comment, subscribe.
You don't have to.